What's up, guys? It's Mid-Softy with another Outriders YouTube video. In this one, I'm going to quickly show you my bleed melee Devastator build. I focused completely on punching things in the face for this. I can literally use melee to like 2 or 3 hit regular enemies and do some serious damage to elites. And when applying bleed, you pretty much just destroy them with your melee because the damage is so amped up. So everything about this build pretty much amplifies your damage on bleeding enemies and using melee. This is purely for fun. It's not like you're not going to set world records, and it's not like the fastest way to beat expeditions or anything like that. It's literally just fun, and I have fun playing it. It's the most fun I've had with the Devastator, to be honest. So let's just get right into it. First, for the skills, we use Earthquake, Golem, and Boulder Dash. Honestly, Earthquake is the only one that's required. For the other 2 skills, you can pretty much do whatever you want. Earthquake, I just use 2 of them to inflict bleed on people and basically use bleed to keep my health up, and that's why I'm able to survive while punching things in the face. Boulder Dash, I mainly use 1 because it's funny, and 2 because I can just sprint over to enemies really quick, punch them in the face, and then continue punching them in the face. And Golem obviously amplifies your anomaly damage, which you're going to do a lot of buffing your anomaly power for this build because that's what affects your melee damage. So for the class skill tree, I start with the bottom tree, obviously, the anomaly one. So we're going to do increase your anomaly power by 10%. Seismic skills cooldown is reduced by 15%. This is for Quake and Boulder Dash. It reduces the cooldown pretty significantly. Then we come down here and get more anomaly power. The bottom perk right here is using protection skills increases anomaly power by 45%. So basically every time you activate Golem, you're going to get more anomaly power. Alternatively, instead of Boulder Dash, you could throw what's it called, this one on, Reflect Bullets. That's the one. And you could activate Reflect Bullets and Golem and like keep doing them every time one is not cooled down, and it'll up your anomaly power so that you can just keep doing it. But I just have more fun using Boulder Dash, so I don't do that. Then up here you go reduce protection skills cooldown, which again you get to use Golem more often. And then strong arm the anomaly makes it so after using your class melee skill, your resistance piercing is increased for every enemy hit, which just makes it so you can pierce armor faster, especially on like elites, and you can just keep meleeing, obviously. And then more resistance piercing right there, which again you could get more cooldown. No, I like resistance piercing. Anyway, more anomaly power, reduce seismic cooldown, more cooldown, increase more anomaly power. This is a huge one. You absolutely have to have this one. Double the damage of class melee skill, which obviously it makes your melee do way more damage. Then here you get increased damage of 20% against enemies below 30% of health. A lot of the time, especially when you're like just finishing off an enemy with melee, this helps a lot because they're already low. So if you like hit them with your, weapons or whatever else, Earthquake, you can just run up and punch them and you'll do way more damage. And then increase anomaly power more. Bleed afflicted on enemies deals 30% more damage, which again buffs your damage against everybody that's bleeding, which will be everyone you hit with Earthquake. And blood donation is you are healed for 25% of your bleed damage. This is huge because this is basically what's going to keep you alive. When you're in the middle of like 100 enemies and you're just punching them all in the face, which is what I do a lot, it can be difficult to stay alive, but when all you have to do is press your Earthquake button and inflict bleed on everyone, you're fine. You're good to go. And then up here, increase your skill leech. Basically, again, keep yourself alive. And then up here, increase your armor bonus by your anomaly power. Everything we do is going to up our anomaly power, so your armor is going to be huge based on just having this perk. And then increase armor by 20% and resistance by 20% for 10 seconds when your skills end. So you're going to be using your skills a lot. So they're going to end like all the time, and they have like decent cooldowns. So you're going to get 10 seconds of extra armor, which again, staying alive. And then do 30% more damage to bleed, which more damage buffs. And then finally, increase seismic skills base damage. So just using Earthquake, you're going to do way more damage than you would having not used this perk. All right, let's move on to the equipment. As you might expect, I'm using Shadow Comet Fortress on a Death Shield, and then Moaning Winds Radiation Splash on a Nimoy. Basically, I mean, I've done some runs where I don't shoot, or like I'll fight a boss and just make it so I don't shoot because I just don't want to. I think it's funnier to punch things. But obviously, if you like get in a bind or you just want to do more damage more quickly and get through expeditions quicker, you can just use Shadow Comet and Moaning Wind's Radiation Splash. It does an insane amount of damage, and you don't have to have high firepower, so it's perfect for an anomaly build. It's pretty standard. Most people use it at this point, so that's why I'm using that there. Then for the other items, so firstly, we're using the Seismic Commanders set. I'm using pants, gloves, and boots. Because I'm also using this Cranium of Lost Creature, which this is like a neutral legendary helmet that any class can use. Cranium of Lost Creature comes with Anomaly Power cooldown and Skill Life Leech, which again, ups your Anomaly Power, ups your cooldown reduction, and of course, makes it so your skills give you more life back. Then the perk that you want from this helmet is Power Assimilation, which boosts your Anomaly Power by 11,061 for each elite present on the battlefield. This is huge for expeditions. Pretty much every room you walk into is going to have like 47,000, alphas and brood mothers and whatever else. We all know that in Outriders, like there's way too many elites coming at you all the time. So every time all those enemies pop up, you're getting 11,000 anomalies stacked for each one of those, which is a lot. Like it ends up being a really lot. And then I put Blood Shock on there, which makes it so Earthquake inflicts bleed, which of course basically buffs everything we do. Then for my chest piece, I have Anomaly Power, Skill Life Leech, and Status Power. So Anomaly, obviously, Anomaly Power. Skill Life Leech, I get more health back for using my skills. And then, of course, Status Power makes Bleed more effective. Then this is a huge 2 perks that I'm using, which is why I think it's big to just find any purple piece you can with one of these on it. You want to use Martial Arts as well as Brawl. Martial Arts reduces the cooldown of your melee skill by 50%, which you'd be surprised how long the cooldown for your melee skill actually is until you're like using it all the time. Then you notice, and it sucks. So you want that 50% cooldown. And then Brawl increases your melee damage by 100%, which is the same thing as the skill that we used, if you remember, or the class ability right here, double the damage of class melee skill. So now, just because of this Strong Arm of the Law and this mod Brawl, we're 200% up on melee damage. Which is a lot. And you can see, does it tell you melee damage in here? I guess not. Anyway, so that's that chest piece. And then I use Seismic Commander's Leg Armor, which has Anomaly Status Power cooldown, Tainted Blood, and Captain Hunter. Tainted Blood makes us do more damage to everybody that's bleeding. It's universal, no matter what you're using, weapon, anomaly, anything, melee. If an enemy's bleeding, you're doing 25% more damage, which is phenomenal, and it makes it easier to punch things, obviously. Plus, the Seismic Commander set bonus is increased damage towards enemies with bleed, 50%. So basically, just from the set and Tainted Blood, we're at 75% more damage to bleed enemies, not to mention all the ones that we got over here, 30% more, where's the other ones? This one, like, we got a whole bunch of, we're doing a lot of damage to bleeding enemies, put it that way. And then Captain Hunter is pretty much essential for any build in this game because, quite frankly, elites just have way too much health. So doing 25% more damage is always good. Then move down to the gloves, Seismic Commander gloves again. I'm using Untamed Power. Untamed Power basically just gives you straight up more damage that's equal to your anomaly power. And because we have so much anomaly power, all of our skills are going to do way more damage, especially when that anomaly power stacks because of things like power assimilation. The anomaly power is going to stack, and then we're going to do a lot more damage by using the skills. And then Earthquake, of course, we're just going to do straight up more damage with it using Ground Crush, 84,000 more damage just from pressing the Earthquake button. And then finally for the boots, I use a second Quake, and Bloody Boost. So Bloody Boost basically gives us more damage afflicted with bleed, 15%. So we're doing, again, insane amounts of damage with bleed. And second Quake is honestly optional. You could swap it out for something else that maybe just buffs your anomaly damage when there's ones that do it when you roll and like things like that. You could do something like that. I don't really like to do it because I feel like having a second Quake so that I can use one to inflict bleed and get me out of like a spot where I'm almost dead is good, and then having the ability to do it again or just do both really quickly is really useful. So I like having it, but you don't have to, honestly. So it's really up to you what you want to use, but it works really well for me. Yeah, so that's pretty much my entire build. This will basically make it so anyone who's bleeding, you absolutely shapap with anything you throw damage at. And it also makes it so your melee, like your class melee skill, as in just doing this, recharges that quick and does a lot more damage than you would expect. It's actually really fun to use. I really enjoy it. And of course, if you don't know, you can sprint and do this, and that is also your class melee skill. So you can just keep doing that, and it works in crowds and stuff like that. And it kind of sends it out in a little shockwave. It's pretty great. So yeah, that is my Devastator Bleed melee class. That's my entire build. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, please give the video a like. Consider subscribing to my channel. Check me out on Twitch at twitch.tv/midsolving. And here is me running an expedition using this build. Have a nice day. I love you.
some kind of obelisk mechanism here, connected to the gate. Maybe if I activate it. Jenna, I found an oasis. It's something else. Almost like the anomaly never touched this spot. Are those the Guardians of Jenna's vision? pod here. Jenna, I found a pod near the temple. Had to fight for it, but the contents are ours.